Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, with the Playbook and Playbill, where every play is a performance. This is your host, Leanna Butte. Today we are talking some Yankees baseball. Spring training just got on its way. The Yankees look good. Few injuries, scares, Stan's injured again. Not shocking. But otherwise, we have most likely in the next few weeks, we're going to have a great defensive team. And we've seen them perform period. Bellinger made a great play the other game. He doesn't dive for the ball, which was a smart move. And him and Jazz made a brilliant play to get the third out of that inning. The only thing defensively, they should be set for a successful year. And I really do not want to relive game 5 ever again. At all. Because that was ferocious defensive miscues by everyone from 1 to 9. And pitching wise, and everything that had to do with that loss was mostly just mental errors, defensive errors, miscues, not having common sense. And that happened throughout the whole season, all last year. Their defense was horrible. It was atrocious. I don't know how they won their division and how they beat Cleveland to make it to the championship because they played horrible defense. They did. And game 1, they deserved to lose the World Series against the Dodgers because that inning that Soto does not hit the cutoff man and Glaber does not keep it in front of him, that run scores and ties it, I believe, tied the game. And that leads them for the Yankees from getting a game 1 win to being up 0-1, being down 0-1. And that just was what that whole series became because it was just downhill from there. Downhill. They played horribly. Yes, they were able to hit, but it was just sad to watch them play defensively. Miscues, errors, just literally heartbreaking to watch the team literally fall apart in the biggest series of the year. And it was against the Dodgers, the team that I hate the most, the Dodgers, because they spent over $1 billion in the offseason. And the Yankees didn't even spend that much at all, in reality. They haven't in years. And I'm tired of Steinberg keeps saying, we don't have to be a $300 million club to win a championship. Yeah, you kind of do. Dodgers just proved it. They're $1 billion. They spend over $1 billion in back-to-back years. And I would not be shocked if they go back to the World Series this year with their payroll. But the Yankees changed things from last offseason. The defense is so much better. You let go. I think everyone who literally made a mistake in that World Series, except for Judge, is most likely let go. Soto's gone. Glaber's gone. Verdugo's gone. Rizzo's gone. And now you have more veteran presence with a Bellinger and a Goldsman who could play defense better than we actually had. And I'm not knocking Judge, but he's a better at right field than. And now you have a Golden Glove caliber player with Cody Bellinger in center, and also a guy who has the utility to play wherever you need him. He could play first one a day you need a break for Goldie. You have him play the corners when you give Judge a day rest. The only issue I have going into the season is Dominguez. Dominguez is a question mark. I know he's a shoo-in to make the 26-man roster, but watching him yesterday in left field made me hold my breath like it did all season when he played left field. He looked atrocious. He looked horrible. He looked like he did not know what he was doing. And I could give him credit. He's 22. All the coaching staff said he worked all off season on his craft to play defense and left. It just didn't look like he really practiced at all. yesterday. It looked like it looked like we haven't looked like he didn't even be able to play left at all. It just looked like he was lost there. And I could excuse the ball between Bellinger and him because Bellinger could have called him off, and that's they still have to work their chemistry, two of them together, playing playing outfield together. So I understand that. But that missed fly ball, it just reminded me of last season when he missed multiple balls that were catchable. I think one of them was like 99% catchable, and he missed it. And we had to, because of how horribly defensive he played at left, we had to have Verdugo play in the playoffs for most of the games because we couldn't risk Dominguez in left. We couldn't risk a stupid miscue or him not playing the ball right because he's not used to playing that position. I didn't understand why they didn't decide last year bef- before he got hurt and even prior to that, just let him play left. Let him. I didn't understand the sense of just letting him play center. He was a he was signed with the Yankees, I think, from when he was 16. Why don't you give him the chance to be more versatility? So when he gets to the majors, he could be someone that they could could, have obtained for multiple positions, not just a state someone who can't be moved. And that's the issue I think they had with because they let him play center so much that he has not had the experience at left that he should have. And I think that's the issue with the Yankees farm system. They have to build up younger guys to be moving all over the field. The best example is Oswaldo Cabrera. He never played a game in outfield before he was called up. He had multiple assists in that. I think it was like 5 assists in like his first 20 games or whatever. And he played a great outfielder. He stole a home run one of his first games. He made brilliant plays at third, outfield, first, second, third, short, left field. He was a great versatile player that they could put anywhere. And he was a great bench player. And he is the type of player that I want Dominguez to become like because you see how much fun Oswaldo Cabrera is. And he does not care what day, if he's not playing a day, or he's playing a different position that day. Or Boone is saying, I'm going to keep you to the later innings, I'll put you in then. He just wants to win. And he wants to play for the Yankees. Dominguez wants to win, but he has to prove himself. And I think his injury, when he was first called up, hurt his production. Because at that point, we weren't really worried about his defense. Because he hit 5 home runs within, I think, his first 7 games, and then he has his injury. And then he was called up this year and batted under 200. But he didn't get the opportunities that he should have because he got injured again. And I think what gave Dominguez a disadvantage of being injured for the past few years hurt him defensively to get the reps at left field. And I understood why the Yankees are giving him the reps in spring training because he needs it. They have not had a left fielder since I would say really a good left fielder since Brett Gardner retired. We have not had a guy play left and actually have a decent average or at least decent on base or even just a contact hitter at this point who just gets on base, steals bases, puts the ball in play. We haven't had that since Brett Gardner at left field. And that's sad. That's almost 10 years since he retired. And we have waited for a left fielder. And Hal has not said anything. Cashman has never done anything. And I understand they didn't want to pay for the big bucks of a this point, and Woods Bellinger was an option. And the same thing with Harper, he was an option. But they did not want to pay for them. And I understand. Dominguez has been in the system for so many years. And he was nicknamed the Martian. And he is their top prospect that has to go right. And I understood it. And I still understand it to a point. But if we continue to see Dominguez struggle the way he is, I would just put at this point, because right now Stan seems to be hurt, put Oswaldo Cabrera at left and put Dominguez as a DH. Because I understand he's only 22 and he's still developing, but I don't want to be at this point in June and Dominguez has like 4 errors or whatever, misplayed a ball, etc. I don't want to be in a game that late in the inning or in a close game and Dominguez will miss a regular fly out or a regular whatever the play is. He would miss the cutoff guy or etc. Whatever he would do. And I don't understand why it's harder for him to adjust to left field compared to center. And I understand he has more room and it's more space in left. But for his type of caliber player that he's supposed to be and how young he is, he should be able to adjust it. And it also doesn't make sense to me how Oswaldo Cabrera was able to adjust so quickly, but Dominguez hasn't. And Oswaldo Cabrera was older. He was older and he had to learn the position. Oswaldo at the time only played infield, fielded the infield before he went to the outfield when the Yankees axed him. So that is what's shocking to me is the Dominguez issue is that the coaches and Boone has said he worked on his game all offseason. Yesterday, it just looked like it wasn't enough. And I'm hoping in 3-4 weeks when we go to opening day, I will not be feeling this way. That when I see a ball hit to him, my chest won't hurt. That I could breathe. That I won't feel like I have to hold my breath. That he's not going to make the play. And I'm hoping I am wrong by opening day. That he is one of their best defenders by the time we get into the middle of the season and into the playoffs. I hope I am wrong that he is not what he looks at right now. Because right now, he just looks lost defensively. And it's scary because we've constantly watched the Yankees defense be horrible year after year after year. The only reason we win these series and make it as far as we do is our hitting and pitching. That's it. Not our defense. We had maybe 3 or 4 Golden Gloves in the past few years. And credit to Judge. Judge deserved a Golden Glove the past few years. He just has not been lucky because players in our league have been that good. However, we haven't really had a defensive team as good as they should be this year. You have Aaron Judge, who's going to go straight to right. He goes back to where his original position is, and he plays a great right field. You have Bellinger, who won a Golden Glove, who was an MVP, who was a Rookie of the Year, who knows how to play the field brilliantly, and has the pedigree to show it. And then you have Goldsman, who has been a great first baseman throughout his entire veteran career. You have Jazz, who goes back to second, which was the better position for him. And also, that was the position if I'm not mistaken, the position he was at when he got the All-Star nod a few years ago. He was a second baseman for the Marlins, if I'm not mistaken. He played mostly base that year. Then you had Volpe, who won a Gold Glove in his first year at short, coming back. And then you have, I don't care which one you consider, Oswaldo, Peraza, or LeMahieu, whoever you consider for third, you have great defense between the three of them. Maybe the offense drops off between the 3 of them if you're gonna platoon them or whatever they're gonna do by the end is by opening day. Whoever is the 3rd base. Or if they platoon the 3 guys or 2 guys, whatever they you have that steady 3rd base presence. Maybe it's not offensively that you get, but defensively you have a corner stop that's gonna protect the pitcher and gonna help the pitcher defensively. And that's have our pitchers this year. We have a lot of pitchers who are ground ball pitchers, and that will help us a lot more than later than it has prior because our defense has been horrible in the past few years. And the defense should be great with the new core, and also you have Austin Willis who's in his 2nd year, who had a brilliant rookie year, and also played brilliant behind the plate. He won the starting job, not just because it was hitting, because the pitchers trusted him. And we've seen that with the relationship he built with Garrett Cole, with Rodon, with Hill. And now we get to see it develop into the newer ones, like a Freed and a Williams. We get to see the connection between him and the newer pitching staff. And that I'm really excited to see the relationship between them. And also just seeing how much he will develop as going into his 2nd year. Like, his defense was great. And also, I don't understand why so many people going into the year criticize his defense. He was not bad defensively. In no way at all. Maybe maybe a few plays, but he was a good defensive catcher. So I didn't understand the criticism going into the season why the metrics were so low on him as a catcher. I never understood it, but I didn't really watch him in the minor leagues, so I can't really tell if that was just based on the minor leagues or just based on other stats that the team had on him, either through college, either through Ball or the minor league. But he was brilliant. The only question mark is Dominguez. If Dominguez gets his defense right, we're probably one of the best defensive teams in the league. Period, hands down. And that was our issue last year. If we played as good as, not even as good as the Dodgers, if we played clean, we could have won the World Series. That's just it. That is the truth. If we played clean, we could have been the team that was hoisting the trophy. But because we played sloppy, it did not work. And I at this point, I credit Steinbrenner for getting people who could play defense. Because you bring in veteran guys like Bellinger and Grossman, who has played those positions multiple times, played their positions great throughout their whole career. And both of them have been brilliant offensively. So you bring a plus average hitter and then also a plus average defensive metrics. And I am looking forward to seeing them every day. And at this point, I personally think we have to just hope on him. Hope he's going to get it. If he doesn't, it's okay. But maybe Spencer Jones get the chance. Maybe he does. Maybe that's what ends up happening with Giancarlo going down. Maybe Spencer Jones gets the chance. I know he has only played AA and his strikeout rate was really bad. His first season in AA. But who knows? Maybe he does get a chance at the big league this year. It stands hurt for a certain amount of time. And I'm excited to see where the team goes because they're definitely going to go somewhere. And there's more positives, I think, after losing the World Series because I see the team is different in the ways they had to, which they got better defensively. They got better in the little things. they're they're s- they're doing the little things in practice, and I'm seeing at games. They're covering bases. They're doing cutoffs. What they weren't doing in the playoffs, in the World Series, they're doing in spring training. And you're seeing young guys like Oswaldo and Peraza watching Paul Goldschmidt, who's a veteran guy who waited, who was doing extra reps before the game the other day, and they just stayed there and watched him work to learn from him. And Bellinger taking Dominguez under his wing, and Holt talking to the younger pitchers and trying to help them with their craft. And also, I love the experience of former Yankees coming. Now, like with A-Rod coming to camp, Roger Maris coming to camp, Andy Pennant there. You had Didi Lagor, Didi Boris, Didi there the other day. You had multiple former players come to. I think that's the difference between the Yankees and other teams. You have these greats who will always come back to help the team develop and give the criticism that they need. And they needed the criticism that their defense was horrible. And their defense cost them the World Series and cost them really so much more. Because I could say this, it cost them a lot of pain that should never have been happening with everything that had to deal with the team. It caused fans so much more pain. Because as a fan, I was screaming at the TV. How do you not make a simple play? How do you not do that? How do you not make like a routine play? How do you not hit the cutoff man? How do you not cover for someone? How do you not check the runner? How do you not cover a base? I every that game, not even just game 5, but that entire playoffs just felt like the Yankees were lucky. And once the Dodgers knew that the Yankees were not gonna field in the sense, because it just looked like they weren't fielding at all. Dodgers took advantage of it, and they beat the Yankees at their own game, and that's the reason the Yankees lost, because they were beat at their own game. They're horrible defense. So now I'm switching over to another topic, some Broadway. I am looking forward to a new show coming out, and it just had opening night a few days ago, I believe, or last week. Redwood, and it has the brilliant Idina Menzel. She was my first Linda, Elphaba that I have watched before I actually was seeing Wicked. I used to watch the videos with my friend on YouTube. I used to watch what is it, the bootlegs, and I used to sing the songs with my best friend. And we had to be like 6 or 7 or 8, and she was the first like singer that I really connected with on more of a musical sense. And she was the reason I got into theater at a young age because I just loved how it just was brilliant, the storyline, telling the stories, and also just the way that she played the character with so much of her self in it, and just showing how much she really appreciated the fans as her legacy went on to this day. So I've never seen her live, and this is the year I'm gonna see her live. I've tried for multiple years, just was never lucky enough. So I'm gonna go see her live in Redwood, and I'm looking forward to the story. I don't know much about it. All I know there's a tree, and there's climbing of the tree, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that ends up in a theater because they are in a theater. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's actually built up in. But that's on one, and then I'm also looking forward to the last 5 years with the brilliant Nick Jonas. I used to have posters of him on my wall because I grew up listening to them and also watched their TV show on Disney when I was younger. He was my favorite of the brothers, so I'm looking forward to seeing him live. and I've seen him before. I've seen him in concert multiple times, and he's brilliant. So I'm looking forward to that, and also just this is the great time to go see theater, I think, for New Yorkers because we don't have that many tourists right now. So you could go to multiple shows and rush tickets and just enjoy yourself without having to deal with all the tourists and all the crowds and everything that has to deal with being a New Yorker. I love being a New Yorker, but sometimes it does get crazy with all the tourists we get. And I think that's the thing that connects me with theater and sports. It's just the camaraderie of the two, of the, the teams you form and the connections you form. I could say this. I have been in both sports teams and in ensembles theater. Those relationships are relationships I will always have with these people that I was with, and it becomes a family for both. And also it's a connection to having something that could help you when the world the world is, and it gives you the distraction that you need to just maybe take a breath and just not think of what's happening right now or whatever you're dealing with. It gives you that space to go into imagination or in the terms of sports, it allows you to watch something for entertainment and enjoy something and just literally just stay in the moment and be in the moment. And I think that's what I love about the two. That's why I'm so into both. Is that you have to live in the moment, and that's hard to do for anyone because life is short, and we have to enjoy every moment because we don't know when last moment when when is our last moment. So using these outlets for me, either sports or theater, it gives me the space to just be myself, to enjoy it, to get out of my comfort zone, to just have fun, not think of judgment, not think of anything that would affect me. Just be, be myself and just enjoy everyone around me. Because I could say this compa- sports, going to sporting events and going to theaters, you find so many people alike with you, and it is a great feeling because you find a connection. Either if you're watching a musical or a play, you find people who are like-minded next to you. And then at a sporting game, when a player gets a home run, you high five them or whatever. You have that connection. And I think with being in New York, we are lucky that I am lucky that I'm able to reach things with my fingertips because it's not in the time that it's expensive that I cannot afford. And I love that my passions for both theater and sports are my fingertips. And I could reach them. And I really enjoy that it's a part of me. And it will always be a part of me. And I enjoy that New York is the place to be for both. That's why people come here. People know the Yankees and people know what Broadway is. People come here all across the world to go to Manhattan, see a Broadway show or see Yankee. Those are one of the most popular things tourists come, and to be a part of that culture and enjoy watching everyone around me and being part of this melting pot is amazing as a Brooklyn native who grew up with people who look differently than me. And I loved it because I got to learn so many different cultures from going to these games, going to the theater. You get to learn more about other people more than you think you would in everyday situations. And I think that's cool about the great city of New York, the great state of New York. You meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds, and you find common things to just You find common things that connect you. And I think that's my favorite part about my enjoyment of being a New Yorker. Now, thank you all for joining us for the Playbook and the Playbill. We'll be here back next week at 11 a.m. This is Leanna Butte. Have a great night.